All right, welcome back, and it's time for us to get into a conversation with our personality of the day. But before we do that, let me just quickly read this birthday message coming from Paul Egbenya. He says, "Happy birthday to Henrietta Adofua Mreku. Happy birthday to you," coming from Paul. All right, have a good one. Now, let's take a quick look at this short video clip. We'll come back and we'll introduce our guest to you this morning.
It is always said, behind every success lies a story. Be patient and listen to this piece, for I'm about to tell you how an expensive treasure was found buried in the clumsiest of dust. The postman. When the miners had mined as long as they wished, they fled for a different land and left behind a servant. For the current land had been exhausted of all its treasures, so the service of this servant wouldn't be needed. As humble as he is, he obliged. Bid them farewell and left for the broken, wretched heart these masters had left behind to take shade soon. This humble servant has spread his wings by creating a go-there-with foundation to render his voice as a voice for the voiceless in society, and wanders into deserted localities, encouraging and giving hope to the less privileged by bringing to light their hidden predicaments, so they can also feel a part of our existence. This servant is the sign of greatness, but we never noticed. See how his servitude, humility, and dedication have taken clear shots of him, and now he is being celebrated as a perfect picture. Today, the naysayers have their eyes filled with tears. Watch how their face drop. Now all they see is a priceless man made of black with an enviable color like the rainbow. A man whose writings, my people, is not human but has got an inward beauty with stylish fonts made of gold. A man whose news is but an oasis which wets the throat of the wandering traveler. A man who looked up to few, but today many look up to him. Silver and gold are tested by flames of fire. His brand is harmless, but touch not, for it is an electrocuted naked wire, with God serving as the plug. There won't be the need to continue this story when the treasure in question is no other than our very own Kobby, a humble servant who keeps saying he won't stop polishing till he shines. Polish still shine. The postman. Postman.
All right, and so we want to introduce to you to Augustus Che, a.k.a. Kobby. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here.
Humble to be here today.
Yeah. Now, that video we watched, that was, you took us back home.
Exactly.
So where's home?
Aguna Diakwa in the central region.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Efantina.
Yeah, Fantin. Aguna Nipa.
Wonderful. Okay. So, talk to us about growing up back in the day. We'll come and talk about what you're doing these days and all that. But then take us back there. How many are you?
Yes.
And all of that.
All right. So first, I want to say a big thank you to God. Secondly, big thank you to God. Thirdly, big thank you to God for how far He's brought me. So I'm from a family, siblings. We are 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. My dad, by God's grace, they are alive. My dad is Mr. David Krantinje, who works with the fire service band.
Okay.
Yes, so currently he's at the fire service and he joins the band. He's with the band department.
Okay.
And my mom works with the Salvation Army clinic at Aguna Diakwa. My mom is a nurse. Hopefully she will be retiring this June on her birthday, 19th of June. So God bless you, mommy. And so, yes, I had my education at Aguna Sredro. So from Aguna Sredro, you go to Aguna Diakwa. It's a bit close. So I had my junior high school education at Greenfield Preparatory School, Aguna Sredro. And then fast forward, our time was when they introduced a computer placement system.
Oh, okay.
So I had a good grade, I remember, but the computer had to take me way back to a school that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
Took me to Fanti and Kumasi. I don't know if you know.
I've never heard of it.
Yes.
Fanti and Kumasi.
Where my friends were going to Infanti Pen, Wesley, and straight to Fanti. My dad checked, down the code checked, Fanti and Kumasi Hinko. I said, God damn it, what school is that? I was so shocked, but my dad said, okay, let me go there and check the school to see if they have good facility. Apparently, he visited, came back, and gave me the good news that it was good school, he had everything. No, he was lying.
Wow, because he wanted you to
exactly,
just
they
go.
had no washrooms.
All right, so that's your mom and your dad.
Yes, that's my mom and my dad and my kid brother.
Okay.
Right.
So they literally had nothing because senior high school facility, some of the things.
Yeah.
Auditorium, dining hall, we had
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So the boys were sleeping in one of the classrooms, same as the girls. But now things have changed. So I got there. I started crying, and my dad said, "No, this is the school." And I remember he told me that you are the school.
Yeah.
Make sure that you stay here and make me proud.
Yeah.
And I say by the glory of God, I don't know whether it is good or it is bad, but I was the only person that year group who was able to move to the university.
Wow.
The rest had to sit back and write off deck, and today most of them are doing well. But for the records, I was the only person. And then it reflects back when Daddy told me that stay and make me proud. So even today, people kind of don't understand. They still they thought I went to most of the popular schools.
Yeah.
I said, no, I went to a deprived senior high school.
Yeah.
But I came out from senior high school. I had admission at the University of Education, Winneba, where I went to study music. So I'm a professional music teacher.
Oh, wow.
I was posted to teach at Ashama Senior High School.
Okay.
But I said no. I had to move into blogging. I'm sure which will go into that. So that has been my background from where I'm from, and my dad and my mom and my family, and from inception.
Interesting. So, I mean, just before we came on, one of the things you mentioned was the fact that you're actually a trumpeter. Yeah, so you're a full musician. It's like it's
Full musician. No, I read music, I can score music.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Wow.
pretty amazing. and you've played with people like the musical Lunatics.
Yes. I've performed with the former French ambassador, Anne Sophie,
Okay.
at her residence. Yes, quite a number of times. I've been to Chakwai to perform on a lot of platforms. I'm sure if your producer can go on YouTube, there are a lot of videos of me playing trumpet.
Playing trumpet.
But why did you choose to study music in a world where everybody wants to be a doctor, wants to be an engineer, wants to be a lawyer? Why did you say, okay, I want to do music?
Yeah, so music in this sense, sometimes we try to limit our perspective to people who perform. But if you're a musician, there are a lot of people who play instruments equally as musicians. I mean, people have traveled all over the world.
Yeah.
We see your very own Nikwe, who is the brain behind your
Voice Factory.
and all that. So I think that we have to explore. We shouldn't think that you can't do a lot with music. Music is very powerful. In our creative space, you see what music have been able to, done, globally.
Yeah.
So I actually was thinking that I'll be able to go to the military to play trumpet. Or
Just like your dad?
Just like my dad.
All right.
Or
So
perform.
he inspired us?
Yes.
All right.
So my dad taught me the trumpet at age 12.
Okay.
Exactly. So music, if you are a musician, it is in our part of the world that we actually seems not to respect, especially instrumentalists. They'll give all the money to the artists and ignore the instrumentalists. Nikwe can relate. You understand? But I feel that, I'm still playing and people pay me to go and play. Just that I am more focused on the online media now.
Let me ask you about a little bit more about this music. Let me ask, do you think the fault is from the establishment or from the instrumentalists? In a sense, I'm asking this question in the sense that I've realized that whatever field you're in, if you brand yourself well, if you position yourself well, people seem to be willing to pay top dollar to get you. You know, so I mean, because there's examples of people like Steve Beddy and all of that. You know, I mean, he could have chosen to be like a regular musician, but he's like, nah, I mean, I'm sticking out. I'll be me, you know. And then there's the likes of you who've played at the very highest places. And so, is it the fault of the musician in terms of getting peanuts as an instrumentalist, or the establishment that needs to change its mindset?
I think it's both ways.
It's both.
And I will take you back. I remember those days when my dad would talk about how musicians were treated back then. It has also got to do with brand positioning, like you mentioned. For example, let's look at our high life musicians and how they were traveling back to back. You notice that most of our grandparents were saying that don't follow bandsmen because they drink alcohol and they are womanizers and all that. So I think that those days, or back in the day, there wasn't anything like brand positioning. Let me value myself.
Yeah.
It was just about
We are
they
going
were
to
happy.
play.
They were going to
Yeah,
play the band.
we are happy to play.
We are happy to play.
Yeah.
It was about just the passion.
Kobby Shabo.
Yeah, Shabo boys. But these days, I think that it has evolved. People like Sibedin that you mentioned, a lot of instrumentalists. Nikwe, I'm not sure that he will be following around just to be drinking and following women. You understand?
Yeah.
So it has got to do with brand positioning, making sure that you yourself, you value yourself, and making that you create the mindset of people not thinking that you are just let me use this word, like a follow kind of bandsman. So it is brand positioning, and the places you go, try as much as possible to also read around your crafts. Don't try to limit yourself. Yeah, I mean, we have the University of Education with the music department where people go to the music school to top up, to study, to score. I was having a conversation with a lot of instrumentalists, and I told them that, look, you have to start reading music. We have something we call by heart. Not just playing.
You have to read it.
Because guess what? You might follow an artist to Europe or the Western world. And when you get to there, they will tell you, okay, so we are giving you a score. Can you play? Can you read? You're going to find yourself wanting. Same way as even as musicians. I had an interview with Joe Metal, and I think it was one of his events, and I said that, how are you able to transcribe your music? And he said you went to perform, is it one of the countries? And the whites didn't understand the Bononier and all those Ga lyrics and all that, but they were able to score, to play exactly how it is. So instrumentalists, let me use your medium to say that they must try to evolve, to learn. Don't limit yourself.
Become more academic.
Exactly.
About it.
That's the word.
Become more academic.
All right. So now talking about evolving, how did you move from being a music teacher to a blogger?
So two things. I had so much passion for media. You remember Junior Graphic those days?
Yes.
Every Wednesday I wasn't missing. I was buying Junior Graphic. I would save money to buy Junior Graphic to be reading, because I told myself that I love TV. I love what you guys do, so I want to be one. So after senior high school, I bought two forms actually. I bought Winneba and I bought GIG.
Okay.
But Winneba came, so I had to go and do my degree. So fast forward, I was a huge fan of SAC, which I've said on a lot of platforms. I joined literally all social media platforms because I wanted to see my icon. Because back in the day at senior high school, he was rapping Kasahari, we were all listening to him. So I said, okay, so I like him, let me follow him. So my friends said, if you want to see his activities, you have to follow him online. So I literally, like I said, joined every platform because of him. So after university, it was going to teach, but I accumulated a lot of numbers because of the SAC influence. And I told myself that, look, I think there's more I can do. So my friends were like, you read music, you can speak well, you can communicate. Why don't you start blogging? So I went to the internet and I searched blogging. I saw my Debra. And I said, no, I think that there's something unique about him. So I went to visit him and he gave me some tips on how I can go about it.
I like that.
And then I started. I called my mom, Mom, as my senior high school teacher, I want to go and do blogging. My mom and my dad were not happy because I'm the first child. I mean, paying your fees through to the university level, now by God's grace, you have work to do. And telling them that you want to go and do blogging. So my mom's perception about blogging was Facebook. What are you going to do on Facebook? Are you going to live your life on Facebook? So I said, Mom, just give me just 2 years. If I'm not able to prove myself worth it, I think I can still go back to my certificate. So fast forward 2 years, I started making waves. I started meeting some people. I started getting some small money, sending back home to my dad. And then my mom, people were calling, I've seen your son here doing this. And that was the transition. For me becoming a blogger. But I thank God because I've been in the game for quite a few years. I think 6 years. But my name sounds as though I've been around for
longer than that.
Exactly. Just because I feel that I was able to find my niche and stay different from the rest of the bloggers, I should say.
All right, so talking about the niche, what's that niche? What makes you different? What makes Kobby Kyei in the blogging industry?
Thank you for the opportunity again. So what actually makes me different is the fact that I am not so much focused on entertainment blogging and trendy stuff. Because when you look at the space, almost every blogger or emerging blogger who comes up who wants to go into entertainment blogging. So I look at the space and I said that entertainment is good. It helps the economy. But what about we getting a blogger who will also talk about socially conscious issues, like moving to rural communities to share the untold stories of people. I've seen Citi TV, Citi FM having reporters on a lot of rural communities.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? You have your headquarters in Accra.
Yeah.
However, you have people on the grassroots, the grounds, giving you the reports, and that is the raw journalism. So I said that instead of me to just be in Accra and be reporting on sensationalism and this person has done that, this person has done that, why don't I build a team where I'll move to rural communities? And I've done a lot with that. So that has been my niche, me making sure that I share the voice for the voiceless. I talk for the vulnerable, and also adding my voice to a lot of conversations in Ghana, especially when it comes to youth. Because I find a lot of things heartbreaking as a youth when I look at the governance and how things are going. So that has been my forefront.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
All right. Now, in terms of success, what is success for you? I mean, looking at what you've chosen, your field you've chosen as a blogger, if you look down, let's say 5 years, and you say, wow, I think I've really been successful at doing this, what would that look like for you?
Thank you so much again. I feel that success for me, in general, is the impact I make in people's lives. Because growing up from the village, the documentary you played, that is where I literally grew up from that space. And now coming to the city, now becoming a blogger, look at myself and I said, God, putting me in this position, what can I do to effect change in rural communities? So what I've done over the years is that I've been able to use my platform to provide boreholes for a lot of communities.
Okay. Like where?
If you go to Kwekrom, I did a documentary, I went there, I sent the video to your producers. I went to the village and they told me that the source of water, it was so heartbreaking, the source of water that the whole community, especially women and children, they were drinking. I cried that day on set.
Wow.
So I reported the news, came back, and today as we speak, they have 3 boreholes.
Wow.
So just because of a story that I did, the boreholes are going to serve generations after generations. There's also another story where I visited Esikuma in the Odobin Braka district, where a woman who suffered from abusive marriage she has about 5 children, and when you look at where the woman stays or live with the family, the whole day what they eat is what's the name of this? Ebronchiria?
Yeah, Graphic and Times type of. Is it
Ebronchiria? Ebronin Katie.
Yeah, Ebronin Katie.
What's the English name?
Well, I mean, does it have an English name? We call it in our local parlance Graphic and Times.
That's the corn and granite.
So it's corn.
The corn and granite.
Yes,
roasted corn.
The roasted, exactly.
Roasted corn and granite.
So that's the video. Yeah, please go back. So the video of the woman where I was crying. So yes, this woman.
Wow.
So what I did was that I put the story out there. And today, as we speak, we went. So this was when we were doing the handing over. Someone has given her a new place, apartment to stay.
Wow.
And the person is going to pay for the rest of her life until when she decides to move out.
Wow.
And someone has come to pick one of her daughters to Kumasi, living in a very posh house.
Wow.
And we were able to establish like a small kiosk. So that's the kiosk.
Okay.
Kiosk for her to start her business.
Her own business.
So that is success for me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, after building a mansion for myself, after getting all the big cars, when I leave Earth one day, the conversation will be, what legacy did this man leave behind?
Yeah.
Because mind you, there's a lot of rich people in our communities that we don't even regard them, even though they are rich. So it means that where are we taking richness?
It's about impact.
It's about impact.
It's about impact.
But there's a certain woman or a man in a certain village who don't have much, but have been able to use his or her influence to affect changes.
Yeah.
And because even today, he is not alive, but
people talk about the person.
Yes.
Talk about
sometimes you go to places and your surname just alone will help you, just because a man who carried that surname helped him.
Yeah, it's true.
You understand? Impact. That's impact. Providing wheelchairs for children. May this man may his soul rest in peace. He's dead now. He suffered from stroke and he was just sleeping on the floor. So I had to go with my team to provide him with mattress. So these are the success stories or these are some of the things that for me I describe as success. Seeing people smile all the time.
Look at the water.
Yes, so this is the water people drink, like children drink.
That's filthy, man.
Yes.
No child should be touching water.
Exactly.
Like this. Wow. Okay, so you've set up a foundation.
You go there with Kobby.
Okay.
Go there.
Go there with
with
Kobby
Kobby
Kyei.
Kyei.
Where the
And-
story is, I go there.
And that's what is the foundation that's driving
Exactly.
these.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? Let's take a quick look at this video. We'll come back and we'll continue the conversation with Kobby.
We met Ibrahim as part of our stories, and the daddy explained to us his condition. The fact that he is physically challenged and has sports issues. So I said, oh, I have a big platform, so let me just go through and see how we can help. So for like past some few weeks now, I've been going back and forth with the dad. So today I decided to come here to visit Ibrahim. And we are hoping and praying that in some few years to come, I believe he will come out very strong. So we decided to come here and have a small presentation for Ibrahim and also share biscuits for all of you. So Ibrahim is going to give all of you guys biscuits. Today. So one of the challenges that we identify was the fact that the dad actually, I don't know whether the dad went to pre-technical school, the dad actually designed this for him. In his own wisdom, he created this for him, which is not professional, but he's been managing this for a while now. But I said, no, let me also get this for you right now.
Thank you.
We first thank you for the consent for this young girl and your coming to. In fact, it was brought to this school last 2 years. He came with the sibling, though he was the only disabled among them. But we overlook it with the hope that with time God can keep him. We knew a lot of people who were born with such conditions. Within some few years, things will change. So I'll use this boy to advise all the private schools and the government schools that in case they found themselves in such cases, they shouldn't reject such people, rather admit them.
Kobby Kyei News.
Wow, so you've seen some of the impact stories that Kobby has been championing. Kobby, so, I mean, seeing something like this, for me, it's emotional, you know. I always love these kinds of stories where people's lives have been changed because somebody went beyond the call of duty to say, I will do what they may never have anybody else come to do for them, you know. How does it make you feel?
First of all, I feel humbled. I feel humbled because if through my platform, as a blogger, to change or changing the lives of the vulnerable or people like this, it brings me a lot of fulfillment. And I have this soft heart for some of these projects because of my dad.
Okay.
My dad used to work with the Salvation Army Rehabilitation Center. So growing up, my dad used to build the calipers and the crutches for these children. So while people were running away from them, my dad was bringing me closer to them. So it was something that I remember. It was just recently that occurred to me that I promised myself that when I become somebody, I will go back to help them. It was just recently that my mind went back. And I said, God, so let me use the platform to thank my father, Mr. David Krantichen, so much for actually building that mindset and that heart of bringing me closer to some of these people because they're also human beings. However, this particular video that we watch, I think that, I am not happy about it, but if the dad is watching, the dad is something
somebody
that
who knows
actually,
the dad.
Exactly, this is something that actually breaks my heart because after covering this story, we had the private hospital around in Sawim who called me and said, Kobby, we like this project and the boy. We want to help fix his legs to have strong bones. We called the dad. The dad said, you don't have money for transportation. I called him. I said, okay, I'm sending you money. Please come to Accra. The first one, he disappointed. Second time, I sent money again. When he got to Kaneshie, so that was literally his first time coming to Accra with the boy, himself and the boy. So they got to Kaneshie, and they heard the conductor shouting, Accra, Accra again. I was like, bro, Kobby, what's the name, Accra? We do Accra. So my son said, oh, more pay Accra. Into Accra, they were here. And I'm like, oh, the doctor said it's at Amasaman, on the Amasaman stretch. So it's still within that space. I said, no, Debbie, Aquana bread. Because I can and 1 year uncle. We are going back to the village.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what is wrong with you, Daddy? Do you want to use the boy to solicit for funds for yourself, to enrich yourself, or you want to help the boy move from this condition? Yeah. That's so up to now, so they went back to the village. So I think that sometimes when you are driving and you see people, especially in La Paz, holding children, soliciting for fun. I think some are intentional, some are deliberate.
We need to discourage it because the state.
Some of children, because when you ask them, how much? 30,000, 20,000. But the child has been standing there with the parents soliciting for money for years. And the child will be suffering. How do you feel standing, moving from one truck driver to the taking money and the child sitting there suffering just because of the money you get for yourself? How do we think, sorry to say, as human beings?
Right. All right. So while doing this work, I'm sure you encounter a lot of these problems. How does it make you feel, especially when it comes to your mental health? How do you put yourself together?
It is not easy, especially when people know that this is what you've been identified for. So you can imagine the numerous videos that I get in a day. People sending me a little boy with a belly stomach. A lot of people are suffering. So I always thank God that, like I said, because of what my dad helped me to connect with them, I try to have a sober reflection on it and tell myself that I feel that, you know what? God, this is my purpose. Because if this should discourage me to say that I'm moving from that space, guess what? Somebody who was waiting to encounter my blessing is going to lose that. So God, always what I pray for is the strength of God. That God should always, and anytime I'm on the phone, people will call me, Kobby, how do you get the heart? Like you mentioned, how do you get the hearts to even watch some of these things to move around to the villages? I hardly even stay in Accra. I'm always in the villages. But there's always joy in my heart when I do some of these things. And I use a platform. I'm just the face of it. But let me say thank you to Augustus Pillow, Desmond Black, ZK Photography, Kobby, everybody, MC Macabre, all the people collectively who come together with me. Young boys, Ghanaian guys who are saying that, look, Kobby, we love what you're doing. We are photographers, we are videographers. But what we can also do to help impact society, you have to come on board. So we do it with so much passion. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh. But at the end of the day, we are changing a story in someone's life.
Right. All right. So you have an upcoming summit. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. So looking at all the things that I've done in terms of my blogging, I asked myself, what can I do to have people like my type also coming out from the blogging space? Because I moved into corporate bodies and I mentioned my name as a blogger. It takes a third party to come and convince them that this guy is different. Or to go to my pages. I always have to constantly remind them that I'm different. So I need to put out a structure or an event together where I can nurture the young and emerging bloggers, people who love social media, to also try and find a niche for themselves and not just think about money, but collectively or holistically think about building nation Ghana.
And social impact.
Exactly. So just like we have an annual event in Ghana, this is also going to be my annual event in terms of the technological space to summon youth to learn about the new media. So this is an initiative that is happening on the today's week. On the 2nd of June at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, 10 a.m. And by God's grace, I have top speakers. I have Tomianan Forsen, legendary Tomianan Forsen. He's part of the speakers. I have Giftiante.
Wow.
I have Nanama McBrown. I have Portia Gabo. I have Futurist Kwame. I have Woody Maya. I have Mr. Meister, I have Anthony Jemefe of Caveman Watches, and myself as well.
Is it free?
It's free.
Okay.
This is the maiden edition.
You've pulled out a star-studded lineup. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, why do you convince all these people to come and be on the platform?
So I think it's because of my work.
Okay.
So with Mr. Tomionan Forsen, I requested his number from KSM. So when I called him, I said, "Hi, Mr. Tommy, I'm Kobby Kyei." Apparently, the day before, he had watched my documentary
Oh wow!
of the borehole stuff on Metro TV.
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh, I was just watching just yesterday. How may I help you?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm coming up with an event." So, "Oh no, you? No, I'll come and do for you."
No, that's
So I think,
nice.
like my mom, or those days, my mom will keep telling me, "Good name is better than riches."
Yeah.
Sometimes when they said your food, your penny,
Your piano.
the piano.
Yeah.
So I want to say God bless all of them.
Yeah.
It's just a phone call away.
Yeah.
But I was able to bring all of them together to impact.
How do your parents feel now?
My dad, I know my dad is watching. My dad, he doesn't miss my interview. So I know he's watching. My mom, because those days my mom, people laugh at my mom because she took us to international schools.
Yeah.
Because when my grandfather was coming to die, he said, take your children to better schools so that they'll have good classmates in future.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to thank my dad and my mom for not allowing our circumstances, but rather give us a solid foundation that has made myself and my siblings doing so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So God bless them. I pray that they live very long for them to see
for you
that,
to build them the houses and give them the things.
Exactly. To give them everything, that fulfillment that they want. So God bless you, Daddy and Mommy. God bless you so much. I love you.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
sharing
much.
this
Thank
story.
you. It was
I
amazing.
think there's so many hidden layers in your story that have been unearthed today, and
That's true.
I think it just makes it that much richer, you know, a story. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I want to say a big thank you to Global Ovations. They are the event partners that I'm doing with them. God bless Mr. Raji Gideon. God bless. And God bless you guys for this opportunity. I know millions of people are watching. And if you are watching me for the first time, please follow me on social media.
Yeah.
What's the handle?
Yeah, so what's the
Instagram
handle?
is Kobby.Kyei.
Okay.
I'm verified, so you see the right person.
Kobby.Kyei.
Kobby.Kyei.
Okay.
And my YouTube is Kobby Kyei News Live, and Twitter is Kobby_Kyei_. Follow me. Let's support those who are doing productive stuff to help the economy.
Yeah,
Right.
God bless you guys.
Thank you so much.
And your,
Thank
your
you so
camera crew, everybody, to the security, God bless everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you so much.
All right, I want to say a big thank you again to Augustus Krante, aka Kobby Kyei, for coming through. Let me just say a big happy birthday to Kashna Ohini Osei. May God bless you and all your heart's desires come true. This is coming from your brother, Cash Money.